Week 2's in the books. We will be discussing those games, and we will also have Trent's top picks, Cameron's catastrophes of the week, and we will discuss who is playing the best quarterback of the year thus far. That and more next on Goode Sports. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Randy Goode, and I am joined alongside Cameron Harkleroad and Trent Sneed. And as always, if you would quickly go hit the subscribe button and like it, we would really appreciate that. It makes a big difference. We've had a whole bunch of views this last week, and we had a bunch of subscribers. So we really appreciate all that. So if you just take a second doing that, we'd appreciate it. But what a crazy week in the NFL. Trent, what was your thoughts of the NFL overall this last week? How you feeling?
Not good. Before we get into all this football stuff,
Yes.
I do want to say if you guys share this podcast, I've been told that would make my mom happy and proud of me. So it's your choice. It's your choice. But shout out Pam.
Make mama happy.
Make mom proud. Listen, she'd be super proud of me if you guys shared this. Anyways, moving on. No, I don't feel good. I feel terrible. My picks were terrible. My teams were terrible.
It happens.
The week was terrible. I didn't get to watch as much football as I usually like to. That was terrible. Instead of watching Red Zone, I had to watch the 49ers do some terrible stuff. Anyways, yeah, no, the whole week was rough. I think there was some very exciting plays.
Yeah.
But I will say this. You can definitely tell it's week 2 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just some crazy stuff going on. And I think we're in for a crazy season. I think last year we had, what was it, like almost double-digit backup quarterbacks end up having to play for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be there.
Yeah.
I think we'll find a way to get there this year.
Well, people aren't playing as much in the preseason, and you can tell it's not sharp. There's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of rust, and so it's rough for the first few weeks.
Yeah, and I don't know that the NFL needs to come out and say you're forced to play these guys in the first or at least one preseason game. But we almost need to get there. I mean, at this point, it's been the last 2 to 3 years. It's like the first 3 weeks you have players learning how to play football again. Yeah. And it's not that they're learning how to play football. It's just sloppy.
It's also getting in football shape. It's different from running on a cardio and actually playing football.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's not like it's bad enough to the point where we're like, it's not like you're going to watch a basketball game and they don't score any points.
Right.
You know, it's not that bad. But also, it's just unfortunate because you have all these teams so scared of not playing their guys. I guess if you mandated it, it would make more sense because then every team has to do the same thing.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know that if it's so bad at this point that we need to go that far.
Yeah. Cameron, what are your thoughts of the week? How things went? Where are you sitting right now?
I feel great.
Yeah.
2-0. We're doing good.
That's all that matters.
Joe Burrow lost. You guys, Bengals fans, can cry about it. That's what I say.
Lost in Burrowhead, too.
Yeah.
Not only
Hold
lost, but lost in his own
Hold
stadium.
that. That's what I say.
Wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate you not holding back. That's great.
It was not a fun game to watch. None of the games this week were fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was some pretty bad football.
Other than one. There was one specific game that I think I laughed more about than I did have any other emotion. And I think we all know what game that was.
The Saints game?
Yeah, the Saints game. I won't mention the other team.
Them boys. Them boys.
Oh, it is fun to watch them suffer.
Shout out to you, Grant. I bet that felt great.
I'm so sorry, Grant.
So,
I'm not sorry at all.
Well, we'll get into some games. This week we didn't do well. Cameron did the best. He was 500. Last week we killed it. We were awesome, and I think as things happen sometimes, we come back down. But let's first start off with the Eagles-Falcons Monday night game.
I wish you wouldn't.
We have to go there. We have to go there. Trent, what are your thoughts of that game, and what's your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, we lost this game basically 3 times, which is what made it the hardest, you know? Usually when you lose a football game, you lose it one time. And you're like, well, that one play goes a different way. It's a different game, right?
Yeah.
But I had to specifically watch us lose this game 3 separate times. I lost us watch it when Saquon drops an absolutely easy ball with grass to run for a first down. This is the frustrating thing, too. If you go 3 plays back, Jalen Hurts throws a ball out of bounds, stops the clock. When he could have ran, he had plenty of green grass. Could have ran. He's trying to force something that isn't there. Now you stop the clock. Terrible play. Then you go to the next play. And now you're stuck and you're in a situation where you want to throw the ball because you got 4 yards to go, but also you're going to not waste the clock out. And then you have a situation where you throw the ball and Saquon ends up dropping the pass. So now you stop the clock twice in less than 2 minutes.
With no timeouts
With
for Atlanta.
no timeouts for Atlanta. And so that's a whole minute you could have got off the clock right there.
Yeah.
A whole minute. So I had to watch them lose when Saquon drops the ball and doesn't get the first down. I then had to watch them lose again when they kick the field goal and then they go and give it back to Atlanta. And Kirk Cousins goes and drives 50, 60 yards in a matter of 40 seconds. So then I had to watch my defense lose again, right? And then we get the ball back with time left.
And there's hope.
And we have a great kicker. Jake the Snake, Chicken Little we call him, okay? The guy never misses. He's gotten game checks multiple times for game-winning field goals. Great kicker. Great in the clutch. And all we need is 15 yards to get him into field goal range. And we throw a 40-yard bomb to the defense.
It was not good.
I mean, come on. And this is what this is what irks me.
And there's plenty of time.
This is what irks me, Randy. I sat through all of training camp, and the Eagles don't broadcast their training camp. They're one of the few teams that don't. I sat through all of training camp, not seeing any film. Yet every beat reporter coming out of Philadelphia says Jalen Hurts has not thrown an interception all training camp. He didn't throw an interception in training camp until the very second to last practice. And everyone's coming out saying this is bad news not to throw a interception in training camp. And Kellen Moore's coming to his defense saying, no, we're trying to get him to throw interceptions. We swear. We're really pushing him hard. He's just that good. And we're now 2 games in, and the guy's got 2 interceptions.
3
interceptions, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, this was last year. This was exactly what happened last year. We all thought we were over the interception thing, and now I'm back in the cycle. Back in the cycle. And this is the problem. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. But, man, stop making bonehead decisions in those moments.
Yeah.
Live to play another day. And that's what I was trying to explain to you when we were watching the game last night is he just gets in this mode now where the first couple years it was Jalen would live to play another day, take it on the ground, run a couple yards and say, I'll throw it next time. And now it feels like he's rolling out and he just feels like he has to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He has to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And I get it. He's probably got a lot of people pressuring him saying, you need to be a system quarterback that throws the ball. Sorry, Patrick Mahomes isn't that. Patrick Mahomes, when he gets out of the pocket, he lives to play another day. He either runs it or he throws out of bounds. We got to live to play another day because he doesn't throw interceptions in the normal. He throws interceptions in the bonehead, rolled out, trying to make something happen last second.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost us. And that defense didn't play bad the whole game. I feel bad because they're going to be the ones on this hot seat this week because of that last drive where Kirk Cousins just chewed him up. But to hold a team like Atlanta, who they do have a lot of firepower, and we don't really know how bad or good Kirk is at this point, but to hold them to 3 field goals in the first 3 quarters, that's pretty awesome.
I don't know if I'd put as much on the players. I was a little surprised when they go prevent defense. I always hate that personally because all you do is you prevent yourself from winning. Typically, when you're doing that, you're now taking a team that you've really dominated. They pretty much thumped Atlanta. I mean, they had most of that game. They won that game, and it's 70 yards, 1:25 to go, or something like that. They scored within 55 seconds or something like that. And it was wide open, 20 yards, 20 yards, 20 yards. And when you give a professional athlete time and you give him open, all of a sudden your confidence starts going up, and then the fear starts going away, the concern of, and you're like, I got this, even if they've been rough all game. And so I don't know why teams don't do it. If it works all game, keep it up. And they were wide open. Quinyon Mitchell looks like a good player for you.
Oh yeah, he looks really good.
That interception he was close
All game against the Packers and the Falcons all game. I thought he looks like he could be a shutdown corner.
Right.
He looks really good. He looks really, really good.
He does.
I feel like we're losing a lot in between the backers and sometimes right in between the safeties.
Well, you're going to be okay. I think your division, you've got a lot of W's, but you got to clean things up.
I think we're still leading the division at this point.
Yeah, I think, Jalen Hurts is these quarterbacks that can run. Listen to outside noise, and I think it's ridiculous. If you're really good, if you're Michael Vick, and you're like the best speed, quarterback, you've got a gun. Why would you listen to people that don't know how to run tell you shouldn't run? If you can get 20, 30 yards, first downs, keep things going, do your thing. Just do it smart and don't get hurt. So, but we need to move on. We're going to move on to the Chiefs and the Bengals. Cameron, what are your thoughts of that game? To what is supposed to be really good teams. I'm surprised at Burrow. Burrow has been a quarterback that has been, right at the top, and people have had him rated. But to be truthful, he was not good last year at all. He was 5-5 at the start. He was even worse than that. He won a few then. No. He's not been that great this year. Nope. I mean, if you really were just to assess him on the last year and a half, he's bottom half of and even though he's a top couple talent. So what was your thoughts of the game?
It was a rough game. We probably should have lost, in all honesty. There were a couple of calls that shouldn't have gone our way and vice versa. But I mean, we squeaked it out. I'll take the win.
Yep. I would rather win.
We won off a 51-yard field goal, which isn't like the most easy thing.
Yeah.
So I'll give credit where credit's due. We put the game away there. But I mean, and Mahomes did throw the worst interception I've ever seen, and the best. Sorry, I shouldn't say
that was
the worst
a great interception.
The greatest interception I've ever seen. It was a good ball. The defender just made it.
He actually threw
miracle play.
A ugly interception 3 plays before that was called off because of a play against Kelsey, so he got away with it.
Yeah.
And that was an ugly one, and then they had one of the nicest interceptions.
Yeah,
that was a glove interception.
Nuts.
Yep.
But,
they're winning, and Mahomes isn't even playing great. If he was playing great,
no one on our team is playing good.
But I don't know that Mahomes ever plays great until the end of the year.
Yeah, he kind of just jogs.
And to be honest with you, I think Tom Brady always did the same thing. I never felt like Tom Brady, even in 2008 when he was, scoring all those touchdowns and they're undefeated. I never once really felt like Tom Brady was an early season quarterback. I always felt like towards the end of the season they were always just turning it on. They just knew. This is the time to really push it.
The best do that at the right time. They flip the switch.
Yeah.
And they play well. And so good for the Chiefs. Well, let's go to the third game, which is the hard one for me. The 49ers and the Vikings. Trent, what was your opinions on that?
Well, I'll
share mine.
I'll share my opinion, just like I just told everybody else in this room a while ago. I was going through the worst plays for the week, and I am mind blown, and I mean absolutely mind blown that they were even in this football game. I mean, the amount of plays, and we won't say the plays because we're going to maybe see some of them on our list, but the amount of plays where I'm going, holy smokes, so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. And a lot of them are just frustrating. I think this is the one takeaway I did have, and I shared this one with you as well. Trent Williams gave up a sack. We just talked not too long about the importance of Lane Johnson and a Trent Williams, where they don't give up sacks for almost 3 years, you know? That is such a huge thing for a football team. That's a game changer. And Trent Williams gave up a sack. And there was another one that I don't think he got credited for because technically it was a stunt. So, this is what's frustrating is players like that, and you got your Brandon Ayuk's who are coming into camp late.
Yep.
I don't think Trent Williams wanted to be at camp. And
I don't either.
it shows that he didn't want to be at camp, and you see it now in his football play.
Yep.
And I think that the stunt where he gives up that one, I don't even know if that was the one they credited to him, and that was 100% his fault. He did not play that right on the stunt. He should have popped back. He should have popped back outside and moved the guy inside to the guard. Anyways, it's just frustrating because for the 49ers who aren't doing well health-wise already, you have players that are supposed to be those anchors on that team who aren't playing at an elite level right now because of the fact that they neglected to see the importance of their training camp.
I totally agree. You can't just show up and say, I'm going to play NFL game in 4 days. And
I don't
that's
care
what
who you are.
two of them did, and they are rusty. Williams is, I think, doing a little better than Ayuk's struggling even more. Now, he did a little bit better in that game, but the 49ers, you know, they threw for a lot of yards in that game, and Mason, I don't know what Kyle was doing because Mason had 83 yards with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and then he didn't hardly run him again. And I don't understand why. It was like he had a game plan. We're going to throw now, whether they have 8 people back or not. We're just going to do it anyway. And I think Kyle is a great coach, but he's stubborn at times, and it hurts him. So
Well, I think I've heard Cameron say this in the past. Sometimes it feels like he's trying to outsmart himself.
sometimes he does. I agree. I agree. And I think I put that on him, that game on him, because so you got to be willing to adjust. You should have different game plans, and it's like, okay, if they're going to do this type of defense, you're going to go this way. Brock Purdy threw into very small windows, and it was like 3 guys were on each receiver. And at some point, and Mason was doing well. So it's like, just ride him. You know, don't be stubborn.
Yeah. The one thing that is kind of not great is we're seeing a lot of injury already. I mean, you have like Pacheco. I think he's going to be out for a couple weeks,
4 to
right?
6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks for Kansas City. You have the Eagles. They just listed A.J. Brown for at least 2 to 3 weeks, which means they'll probably just sit him till the bye week on week 5 because we have an early bye. You have the 49ers with McCaffrey going to be out for another 4 weeks. Debo's on the list.
Trent, Kittle was beat up in that game. We still don't have Huff back, and we still don't have Dre Greenlaw back. He won't be back till like mid-season.
But anyways, I mean, just those 3, Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, those are huge losses for all of our teams.
Yes.
And man, I hope I don't see this trend continue to go because there's nothing I hate more than watching football when you don't have those star players. It just takes away from it. So
Hollywood Brown's also out till the postseason.
Yeah, I saw that. He's not going to be ready until the postseason. That's frustrating.
I hate to see these injuries. It is hard. All right, well, let's move on to the last game.
Can I say one
Oh,
thing
yeah,
about
absolutely.
the 49ers?
Yeah.
I have 2 words.
Yeah.
33 years.
Oh, yeah, Minnesota. We have not won in Minnesota
since
for
the 49ers have won in Minnesota.
Yeah.
33
That's a long
years.
time.
And Minnesota's in the NFC, so it's not like it's AFC and you don't play them. You know, you
play 'em like every year.
every year, every other year.
Yeah.
You know, so and there's playoffs. Yeah, it's not good. Thank you. I almost forgot that, Cameron. I
wasn't going to let you forget.
I really appreciate that. So last game, Cameron, will go to you. Bills Dolphins. That game did not go. We all picked that game incorrectly.
Yeah.
It was before, and we'll get into the injury in just a second, but before that, Tua was playing terrible. He had, I think, 3 interceptions. He was not looking good. But what was your thoughts of that game?
Yeah, Tua. I mean, first off, they were down to, but A-Chain was a game time decision.
Yeah.
Yep.
So most people, including myself, picked up Jeff Wilson on waivers and fantasy, hoping that he would start.
And then A-Chain
he in fact
killed
did
it.
not. A-Chain played, which good for him. I'm glad he played. I'm glad he's okay. But so that was there. Their receivers played terrible for the Dolphins. Receivers played terrible. Tua played terrible. And Josh Allen just ate their defense up.
Yeah.
He couldn't be stopped. Josh Allen, I'm now realizing, is another one of those guys where it doesn't matter who he's throwing to.
It doesn't.
He just can throw it there.
Well, he throws it and he can run.
Yeah, he can.
I mean,
run.
he does
Somehow,
everything.
That's 6'5", 280.
I know.
Beast.
His
He can move.
story is so cool. Have you ever listened to his story? Oh, it's so cool. So he had no college offers coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So what he did is he emailed his video to like 180 different head coaches all across the nation.
Yeah.
Trying to just get on a team. And it's like, "Hi, I'm Josh Allen. Here's my tape. Please give me a call if you have any questions." And anyways, it's a whole thing, but if you ever get a chance, go. I think they have a documentary. ESPN has a documentary on it, but super cool. But yeah, I don't know where he decided to start to run.
Yeah.
But guy's a stud.
He is. He's playing at an MVP level.
I think at this point, I don't know. We're gonna hear your quarterback list later on.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, as far as quarterbacks go, honestly, the only quarterbacks that I feel like I'm taking 1 and 2 is Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and I think the rest, I'm not even sure.
That's what I said.
I'm
but
not-
when we get to the list, you're gonna be.
Oh gosh, Cameron already knows.
I'm
Listen,
pissed.
all I'm saying is for me personally, I think I don't even know if I care about the rest after 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think it.
Yeah.
Those two are the best quarterbacks overall. I think
it's so much larger of a margin though than
yes, because
There's such a
I
jump.
thought a lot of people had Burrow in that category,
Yeah,
and
I
he
know.
is not even close right now.
No.
He's not even close.
I put Derek Carr in that list right now.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking two different things: how they're playing this year versus overall quarterbacks.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But I think as far as like the Bills and the Dolphins game goes, it's just sad to it's sad to see with someone like Tyreek Hill. I feel like every year I'm almost wishing that he breaks the record finally, because I feel like he's one of the only players that we have out there right now that could break the record.
Yeah,
But I mean, one bad game like this completely can derail you from ever even getting close.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
I was surprised. I picked them. I was not sold, as you guys heard. I was not sold on the Dolphins at the beginning of the season. I picked them to win and was thinking that this whole Tyreek Hill was going to bring them together and there was going to be some unity and they were going to just bond together, and it didn't happen. I totally missed it.
On that note, I do want to come out and say Tyreek did put out an apology.
When? I have not seen that.
You have not seen that? Okay,
No.
so
I heard him say he wants the guy gone.
He did.
Yeah, that's
he
all
did.
I heard.
So that was a part of his apology. So
that was his apology?
well, hold up. They did announce on the broadcast. They said Tyreek Hill has come out and he has said. They said this on the NFL broadcast. So I haven't seen any tweets or anything like that. But they said this on the NFL broadcast. So it's got to be legit. Well, they wouldn't. I mean, announcers wouldn't say that if it wasn't legit, right?
Yeah.
If it's on Twitter, it's got to be real.
Well, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is what they said is Tyreek Hill has come out and said that he could have handled things in a much better way, but he's still calling for them to be fired.
Well, I would like to hear him say that, and if he does, that's great.
Well, I mean, it's possible he
Yeah.
has said
He might.
that.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'd like to hear him say that. I'd like him. What would be neat is if he came out and just went to the podium and just said, "You know what? I didn't do that right. I was an example. That's not how you should handle things. I was wrong, and if I'd have handled that differently, things could have went differently." However, that being said, then you go into your other part where that guy shouldn't be an officer. You can't treat people that way. I'd
Yeah.
love to hear that. And maybe he did, and I just haven't heard it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he
to be
could.
honest with you, after I heard that, I haven't really thought much about it. So
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to talk about Tua, the unfortunate situation that happened. I think we were all watching, and it was just a terrible situation. When you see a player go through fencing, I've not seen something like that before. And when that happened a couple years ago, I just was mortified. And I come from a place where my daughter went through some concussions, nothing like that. But when I learned about it, I was like, I do not want to put my kid in harm's way at all. And when I learned about the second concussion, which is why he had the fencing 2 years ago, it was 2 concussions that were within close proximity. He shouldn't have been out there. It just was sad. And at the beginning of this year, I had mentioned I didn't think Miami, and it was because I'm concerned for Tua. And I think it comes from more of a personal. It's not because I think Tua's bad. I'm just concerned. And when he went forward and he immediately did that again, I was in our living room and I said that guy should never play another snap. And I know it's easy for me to say that because I'm not the one that would be giving up, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars and all that, and I get it. But he does have $100 million. And I don't know if they realize and they're really looking ahead at your quality of life when you're 50 and you're 60 and you're 70 for what could be 4 more great years, 5 more great years. So you're going to have so many games, but you're going to have decades of issues. And I think he's already going to have, I'm concerned about that. I also think we talked about this in the podcast of one of the things sports could do differently, teams, if the leagues would do, is allowing a situation like this to where you could take a player that has obviously got hurt in your sport and allow them to still make their full contract, but it doesn't go against the salary cap.
Yeah.
And I would love for a situation like this to happen if the football team would do it, if Miami would do that and have them not be hamstrung because, Tua could just go and I guess say, I want to keep playing, but I'm not ready yet. I got a headache, and he could do that, but he's a good guy. He's not going to fake it for 4 more years.
Yeah.
But I hope for his sake, his family, I know some of them already came out and said they don't think he should play, but maybe different people have different things. I just hope he doesn't play. I feel for him. But what's your thoughts, Trent?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. The whole throwing up gang signs with your hands.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No.
That's not normal. And I've seen some people hit really, really hard.
Yeah.
And have really bad brain injuries. I know people who have almost died from having too much brain or too much pressure in their brain from a concussion. And it's one of those things where I've watched it multiple times. I've never seen someone fencing before.
Yeah, I have never
until
either.
I watched him, which tells me that he is not okay.
And that's twice now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like we've done so much as just a population in general to get more aware of these type of injuries ahead of time, because before it's not something you could see as a damage. So people just would get concussion after concussion and move on with their lives.
Right.
I don't know. It's hard because I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a doctor. But I know that if that was my kid, like if I had a kid that was playing football and I saw my kid throwing up gang signs with his hands because he can't even control his motion of his hands anymore, I'm instantly pulling him out.
Right.
And I'm saying absolutely not. You're not under my roof. Are you going to do any more sports?
Yep. Yeah.
And this is the thing is, for his family, it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it. And the only way that I could see, if I was Tua's brother, for example, the only way I could see allowing him to go back on that field is one sole reason. If he came to me and just looked me straight in the eye and said, "This is all I am and all I want, and I'm willing to die for this." If he told me that, then I would say, then I'll be here to support you.
Yeah.
But he's an adult making that decision, to be fair. I wouldn't do that with a kid, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, unless Tua can look you straight in the eyes and say, "This is all I am and all I have, and I'm willing to die for this," then I think as a family member, you got to grab him and say, "No, absolutely not."
Sometimes there's an intervention that needs to happen. And I think the nobility part of it as an athlete and a man is you're sitting there going, I don't want to let my teammates down. And I think that's part of it is you're like, Tyreek Hill came here and maybe I'm part of the reason he's here, and these others that want to sign here. And I don't want to let people down and I don't want to walk away and quit. And I think people just need to surround him and say, "Listen, you got $100 million. Let him be a quarterback coach, let him stay in the locker room, be a part of something." But man, I can't see another hit like I've never seen one, let alone 2 like that.
Yeah.
And of all people to hit him, DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a hard hit.
No, it wasn't.
That was the craziest part.
Yeah.
He just kind of
It was a normal play.
I half blamed Tua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He dove at him
He
with his
did.
head.
And the reason why is as much as they tell you to slide, he's in that game and he's played horrible.
Yeah.
And it's a big division game. He's wanting to win and it's 4th down.
Yeah.
So he's wanting to go for it. And you forget the logic of I'll play for another down, and so it's hard. Oh man, I hope you could see Mike McDaniel. I mean, you could see the love he had for him. I thought that was really cool. There's a lot of players that are like Tua first, and that's really cool. But I hope he's okay. Our prayers are with you, Tua, and your family. But $100 million, that's more money you're going to spend in your life. That doesn't even count endorsements. And not only that, your kids aren't going to spend that money either.
Yeah.
So,
and
anyway.
I hope he realizes too that his kids are going to want him there.
Yes.
More than the money.
Yep.
I think, and the thing is I don't know any child that would pick the money over having their dad there.
Absolutely. Kids, grandkids, and so on. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, now it is time for one of our favorites, Trent's
I'm
top
super excited.
plays. Let's go, Trent.
Yeah. This has been a big week. And we're kind of bending the rules a little bit this week because we had some themes going on.
Okay.
And we'll get into that a little bit. But first play I got for the week is Alvin Kamara's screen for a touchdown. And this is a fantastic play. I don't know if you guys saw it in person, but it's just a simple screen pass. And shout out to Alvin Kamara. I think we all thought for a while that he was washed up. Well, he's making it happen. The Saints are playing well. But what I want to highlight for you, and I'll see if Drew can't maybe put a little pin down for you. Big man Cesar Ruiz runs with him the whole entire 80 yards. 6'4", 330 pounds, and he's keeping track with Alvin Kamara.
Rumbling and bumbling
all the way down the field. And I don't even know if he actually made a block the whole entire way.
He's just breathing.
But he ran that whole way down the field, and he kept track with them. I mean,
Wow.
Alvin Kamara runs a 4.4 or 4.5, so I mean, guys running fast.
Yeah,
running fast. So great play by Alvin and Caesar. Man, way to get down the field, buddy. The next one I got. This one's a fun one for me because I give him a bad time all the time, and I'm going to continue to give him a bad time. Trevor Lawrence takes a sack, safety on his own 2-yard line by Alex Wright, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, he had every opportunity to throw that ball away.
Yeah.
Every opportunity to throw that ball away, and somehow this absolute prodigal of a quarterback couldn't figure out how to get the ball out of his hands. You're in your own end zone, man. You don't have 10 seconds to throw the ball. You just don't. You don't have 10 seconds, Trevor. Learn to play the game a little bit different. You're in your own end zone. Now, if you're on your 20, yes, you might get 10 seconds. You're not getting 10 seconds in your end zone. You got to throw the ball, buddy. Next play. Love this one. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get any catches last week, and the only reason I highlighted this one is because Kyler Murray walked to the stand last week and said, hey, listen here, pal. Marvin Harrison catching the ball is none of my problem. Well, guess what? It was Marvin's problem. I guarantee you Marvin walked in that locker room the next day and said, get me the gang ball, Kyler. I want the ball. And guess what? Marvin Harrison catches a long touchdown pass, and he reaches out for the goal line, 2 tacklers on him, looking Michael Jordan-esque, reaching that ball right across the goal line. Looked awesome. Next play. Gosh, this guy, this is one of our ones that it's going to become a theme here.
He's going to be here every week.
He's going to be here every week. He's a good friend of ours. He's white as mayo. He sells mayonnaise. His name's Will Levis. And, man, he could not keep off the highlight reel for worst plays this week. I could have highlighted at least 5 plays to put on the worst plays of the week this week, and I'm just going to pick a couple. But listen, this guy could have been all of them. He could have been all of them. Gosh darn it. And I don't know if you guys saw or not, but his coach was fired up by the end of the game. He's yelling and screaming, running across the goal line.
They still almost won that game, too.
I know. But anyways, the one I highlighted was the shovel pass. He did it last week. He does it again this week. Dumb play, man. You literally just got chewed out last week for it, and you're gonna do it again this week. I mean, man, what I wrote down is get ready for the beep button on this one. I said it looks like he's still on the farm shoveling every week. Man, holy smokes, because this guy needs to not do any more shovel passes this year. Thank you very much.
Dude, it's so fun seeing the still shot of him just laid flat out like he's completely horizontal with the ground.
Man's getting clipped for sure. And I will highlight, he did throw a football almost to Tyler Boyd where he just dinged a defensive back right in the back of the head. And man, you got to love that. The wide receiver's not looking, defensive back's not looking, get one right in the back of the dome. Mm-hmm. Next one, Matt Campbell. Man, that guy doesn't know how to just punt the ball. He doesn't know how to punt the ball. And he goes out there, Jack Fox, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, Sione Vaki, fake punt for the Detroit Lions on 4th and 12 in their own 20-yard line.
Campbell.
Man, you just can't hate it. The guy literally has no quit in him. Mm-hmm. He says, I don't care if it's 4th and 40. We're going for it, boys.
Campbell.
Man, part of me loves that part of him just because I know no matter what, he's going to back his team up and he's going to want it. But great play. Great play there. Don't know if I'd ever make that play call again, but great play. Next one. Now, this is another theme we got for this week. James Conner fumbles on the 1-yard line. And I also want to shout out every other running back who fumbled on the 1-yard line this week. Aaron Jones, shout out. Josh Jacobs, great job, buddy. Deontay Foreman, man, great work. Man, I don't know what's going on with these guys, but if you're on the 1-yard line, maybe just put out like a flyer to the rest of the NFL and say, hold on to the ball. Yeah. Because gosh darn, guys, we can't lose the ball on the 1-yard line this much. I mean, running backs, your one job is to go forward and hold on to the ball. That's all we got. I did highlight the James Conner one because I really love the fact that Trey McBride recovered the fumble in the end zone. Yeah. And he's probably thinking, there goes my stat line, baby. Every fantasy football owner's going, how did Trey McBride get me 6 points with a fumble recovery? So great play. Not so great for James. Yeah. Moving on. Man, I don't know if he's the best quarterback in the league right now, but he's starting to make me think that he's coming back. He's coming back from the future. Sam Darnold with an absolute rocket to Justin Jefferson for 97 yards. Not only 97-yard touchdown, but also, wow, what a play for Justin Jefferson to have 2 defenders on him, catches the ball, jukes out 2 defenders, still makes it to the end zone. Yeah. It was a fantastic play from Sam, fantastic play from Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. I would hope that this doesn't happen more often for Sam and Justin. That's not really their go-to, but man, didn't see that one coming. Look good on the fantasy football report. My next one. The Minnesota motion mistake. Listen, I don't know if you guys are aware out there in Minnesota. You guys are pretty far north from everybody else. You can't put 2 players in motion and also have your quarterback run into them. Not going to ever work out well, okay? I'm sorry. It won't. And if you're the tight end and you see a guy running behind you, or you look up and see a guy running behind you, think to yourself, okay, he's running. Maybe I shouldn't get up and run. Anyways, I don't think I've ever seen what I liked most about this play and why I wanted to highlight it so bad. I don't think I've ever seen a ref so excited to throw a flag. All 5 refs are like, throw it. Did you see that? They had 2 guys moving. Great to see the refs really getting involved in the game. We saw that in Kansas City as well. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I had to throw that one in there. My bad. Good. Aaron Rodgers throws an absolute beautiful ball to Breece Hall over the shoulder. And honestly, what I love this play so much because Saquon did almost the exact same thing last week. So it's not unheard of for a running back. But it was a beautiful ball, beautiful catch by Breece Hall. What I love most about this is he went in the huddle before the play and he goes, hey, Aaron, if there's a linebacker on me, you're just going to want to throw the ball. And guess what Aaron did? Breece Hall walked out there. Aaron said, hey, there's a linebacker. I'm going to throw him the ball. He called his own play, got the touchdown. Nice. Gotta
Nice.
love it. Those are the type of things where you hear them and you're like, man, that's fantastic. Now my last one. I feel a little bad about this one. I'm gonna pick on him a little bit, but here's the deal. We learned a long time ago from one of my favorite movies of all time, The Longest Yard. You gotta leave the extra buttery popcorn. You gotta leave it at home, okay? You can't bring the extra buttery popcorn to the field. And I know what Brock Purdy was thinking. He was thinking, man, I just saw Justin Jefferson catch a 97-yard touchdown. I want to enjoy the game. I want to enjoy what I'm watching. I better get the buttery popcorn out. Watch my movie, okay? Watching the movie. Wow, that's awesome. Justin, you're so stud. And then he goes out there, man, goes to throw the ball, and guess what? You got the butter on the hands, loses the ball mid-release.
Terrible.
Okay, can't do that.
No.
I know, Brock, that this is like your second or third year, man, but I just want you to know in the NFL, you can't enjoy the
Hold
game
on to
that
the
much.
ball.
You can't enjoy that game that much, okay? You got to lose the buttery popcorn. Make sure you hold on to the ball, throw an absolute good ball there, and hopefully don't lose it mid-throw next time. All right.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Well, that's it. Sorry.
Trent's top plays. Those are awesome.
Some were
Good.
top and some were not so much.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot of fun. That was good. There's definitely a bunch of things going on in the NFL, and what I love about those plays is the way you have some that are sarcastically great to just watch.
Yeah,
And,
I do want to say my honorable mention,
Oh,
Baker Mayfield.
yeah,
He had a little touchdown run, a little quarterback draw.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw this or not. He's looking. This was going to be my tagline for it. Okay, Ray. It was Mayo Jackson.
Ew.
But then I had too much Will Levis mayonnaise things going on. But
Yeah.
anyways, he looked good, man. It was like a 15, 20-yard little scamper he did there, and I was like, man, he kind of
That's
looking
good.
like a little Mayo Jackson.
That's
you know?
good. That's good. Well, we are now going to move on to a new segment, and this is prompted by I watch a
friend of the show.
a friend of the show, Nick Wright,
My favorite.
who I think
love
is
this guy.
he's very talented, but oh my gosh, obnoxious. And he has this mountain of quarterbacks, and it depends, I guess, on where you're rating quarterbacks. If you're
You should get the name right. It's Mahomes.
Mahomes,
Mountain.
yeah. Well, I left
'Cause
that out for a
There's
reason.
a reason that it's called Mahomes Mountain.
I left that out for a reason, and what I like is, so I will try to always fight for the players, and every year there is different things that happen, and so there's two different tiers. So if you're doing a who is the best and who would you draft, that might be totally different than even who at the end of the year did the best. You might draft somebody that was the 8th best over the person that played the first best that season. So what I want to do is each week I want to come and I am going to just be saying who at that point in the season, when you take all the games, who's actually playing the best based on stats, because stereotypes hurt players and it over helps people. Like Joe Burrow, who I think is a very talented quarterback, has gotten a lot of the benefit of the doubt, and he's frankly laid an egg for quite a while. And so let's just see how they're doing. And so I'm going to rank the top 10 based on not one stat, not two stats. I'm trying to take as many as you can possibly take into consideration. And so top 10, Patrick Mahomes. I know everybody here would want him. I would say it too. He's the number one quarterback by far. But early in the season, I think Cameron, like you probably said it right. And I think Trent, you alluded to it. He's more of a when the time is right, I'm going to flip the switch.
Yeah, he just jogs.
Yeah. So so we're 2 weeks in, and he's not at that level yet. You know, his stats just aren't there. But he's done well. He's 14th in passing overall. He's 6th. His highest stat that he has, the only top 10 stat that I saw, was he's 6th in average yards in the air. He's 19th in quarterback rating, but he's number 10. Number 9, Lamar Jackson. He's 5th in overall passing yards. He's 21st in completion and only 16th in quarterback rating. But because of his rushing ability and whatnot, I have him there at number 9. Sam Darnold. I think this is one of the coolest stories. It's early and it could end tomorrow. But at
Definitely
this
could.
point, I like Sam Darnold, and I'm happy for him that he's succeeding. He's in the top 10 in almost every stat. which is pretty impressive. He's 9th in passing yards, 5th in average per attempt, 4th in quarterback rating. He's got 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Good for him. I think that's fantastic that he's doing that. And number 7, Jalen Hurts. He has 3 touchdowns that he's thrown. He has 3 interceptions. But he also has a couple rushing touchdowns. He has 118 yards. And when your quarterback's got 118 yards in 2 games, there's a lot of running backs in the league that would like to average, 60 yards a game.
Yeah.
And so, he's thrown some rough interceptions, but he's also had some really good plays. Brock Purdy, number 6. He leads the league in passing yards. He's number 1. 5th in average through the air. And so he doesn't have the touchdowns. He's had a couple drops in the end zones. We'll see how things go because he's obviously going to be without a bunch of people here for a while, but he's number 6. Baker Mayfield, number 5. Last game, it was an okay game. The first game was a ridiculously great game. And this is why I want to do this quarterback thing each week. When people deserve it, let's give him props. He has 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has a rushing touchdown. He's playing really well. C.J. Stroud, he's a little harder one for me to rate. He's got 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. They're 2-0, so you got to hand it to them. Kyler Murray, out of nowhere, 4 touchdowns. I think we were getting rid of him at the beginning of the season. No interceptions. 2nd overall in quarterback rating. 2nd in QBR, doing very well. And Derek Carr, number 2. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. The dance of the century, right, Cameron? You love that.
Mm-hmm.
But he is playing really well. And number 1, Josh Allen. He's, I think, the MVP. It's way too early. 1 game, somebody could go from the 12th up to the 3rd because it's so early in the season. But he's 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a couple rushing touchdowns. He's doing a little bit of everything. So those are the real top 10, how they're playing as of now. Not necessarily the playoffs, who you would necessarily want. But that's the purpose of this. And so now I want to move into something that, moving into Cameron. Cameron has one of my favorite segments coming up, and it's Cam's Catastrophes. And so I want to hear Cam because I appreciate so much his perspective. So, Cam, let's hear what you got.
So, this week, there wasn't as much as last week. Last week, there was an abundance of things that I could have picked from.
Yeah.
But this week, I just want to start as a whole. This, specifically Sunday. Sunday was one of the worst days of football ever. There wasn't a single entertaining game on.
No.
And anything you turned on, you were just kind of disgusted. Nothing was fun to watch. I pray that week 3 is more exciting because this week was bad. This week was just very not fun to watch, enjoy, see, hear. It was all terrible.
It was strangely boring.
It was very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not great football.
No, it was bad football everywhere.
Yeah.
There was only a couple teams that really played good football.
Yeah.
The Saints.
The Saints played good football. That's probably it. That's realistically, that's probably it.
Buffalo played good football, but that wasn't on Sunday.
No.
That was Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buffalo played all right.
Yeah.
But
Stop.
so my first catastrophe is Bryce Young and the Panthers.
Yeah.
That kid cannot catch a break. He just has a terrible O-line, is getting destroyed every single play, getting pressured, getting touched. It's bad. It's bad to the point where he's been benched. I believe their starter now is they signed
Oh gosh, I know
Tannehill.
Yes,
They signed Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
Is now their starting quarterback.
No, sorry, it's not Tannehill. Sorry, it's Andy Dalton.
Yes, Andy Dalton. Sorry, the Dolphins signed Tannehill, and he will be their starter right now. Yeah, Andy Dalton. We'll see how he does. I doubt he'll do any better than Bryce Young. But I feel bad for that kid. That kid tries really hard, but you can only do so much with that organization. he doesn't have much to throw to, and he doesn't have a lot of time to throw. His running backs are terrible. I know because I have Chuba Hubbard in fantasy, and he's a constant disappointment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I wasn't super happy to see that that he got benched, just because when you do that to a quarterback so early in the season, it just kind of crushes their psyche. I mean, we saw it done with wow, I can't remember his name. Trey
Lance.
Oh, yeah.
Trey Lance got benched fast, and that just ruined him. Justin Fields, his team never really supported him, and it showed.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to happen with Caleb Williams too if they keep playing bad. But we'll see. But yeah, I hope that Bryce Young is able to get a little confidence and not let this really eat at him. And I hope the Panthers figure something out. Because it's not fun to watch a team score 0 points.
Yeah.
It's not fun to watch a high school C team get beat up by a professional team.
Yeah.
It's hard to know, too, because, I mean, we have a situation with, like, Baker and Sam Darnold, who both were in Carolina at one point and found zero success. And now they're both on separate teams, and they're finding success.
Christian McCaffrey, too.
Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, it's just... And then on the other note of it too, what is Carolina going to do? Because the NFL is not going to stand for their ticket prices here soon. I mean, you can buy literally the front row tickets for $150 right now.
Yep. They're like the Blazers.
Yeah.
You could buy front row tickets at the Blazers games last year for like $20.
I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere too that they're giving out like nosebleed seats for free.
Yeah.
Like if you just show up, they'll just let you go in.
Just to put people in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe you'll buy a hot dog and they'll make something.
Maybe.
But you got to feel for Bryce, man. I mean, I don't know how much it is him and how much it is Carolina, and we might never know.
Franchise quarterbacks, they got to remember it's Peyton Manning, I think, was like 15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions his first year.
Yeah.
You have to know that you've got to be patient. It takes time. You got to build a team around him, and it is a different game at the NFL. I mean, what are receivers or linemen in the NFL?
Yeah.
And so it's a different thing. So, okay, Cameron, keep going.
The second thing I have to talk about, we're going to switch sports here. I'm going to talk baseball because, and this pains me to say this. So my team in baseball is the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox, as of right now, are 36-115. They were the fastest team since like 1936 to reach 100 losses.
That's impressive.
They just recently snapped like a 20-loss streak, which was cool.
That's a month.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been very hard. I've tried to keep my distance with baseball right now because I don't enjoy watching my team lose over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's not fun being the worst team in the league, but that's what football's for. That's why I'm a Chiefs fan. I go from super high highs of being the best team in the league and possible three-peat and this and that, and then I go and watch baseball and I'm the worst team in the league and I have no faith and everything's bad and it's not fun.
It's almost impressive.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it is on purpose, and I wonder how much of it is like they're actually trying.
Yeah, like the odds almost suggest that you couldn't lose that much.
You got to accidentally win more than that.
Like you got to accidentally.
Yeah.
But didn't they just win like a back-to-back or something?
Yeah, they won like 2 in a row.
I mean, that right there, that's like the World Series for them. They won 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
we
won 2 in a row.
I mean, that's gonna make you feel good.
No, it doesn't. We're currently we're down. What's our score right now? We're down 4-0 to the to the Angels.
That's just on repeat. That score.
I mean, theoretically speaking, right? It's got to be so hard to lose that much. Like, couldn't you, theoretically speaking, accidentally hit a home run?
No,
it's incredible.
It's
impressive.
Really impressive.
All right.
It doesn't help that our pitcher is terrible.
Yeah.
Our pitcher's actually so bad.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, at least they still get to cash those checks.
all $12 of them. Yeah. And the last thing I am going to talk about, and I've already gotten this pre-approved because I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it or not. Shannon Sharpe. Unc was getting freaky on IG Live.
Man.
I watched it go down on Twitter.
He said, "Yeah, Michelle."
Yeah. Shout out Michelle. I don't know who you are, but you probably had a good time.
I'm putting a stop to those rumors.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was rough to watch. It was very funny.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I watched the post interview with him and Ocho.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty funny. He was like really upset that it happened, and he was like, "Oh man, I can't believe this happened." And I try to keep this kind of stuff private and blah blah blah. And then people were like, to go on live on Instagram, you have to like do like 5 different steps.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of different buttons in different places that you have to hit in a certain sequence to even go live.
I've never gone live before on IG, but I almost want to try it now to see if
it's very complicated. It's not like super easy. It's not like a single button that you can press. It's like 4 buttons that you have hit, and they're in different spots. Yeah.
People did come out and defend him and say that he absolutely has no idea how to use technology.
That's Stephen A. Smith. Yeah. He did say that.
Yeah, it's
but
possible.
that's his friend.
But it does kind of seem a little staged.
It does. It did seem
especially
staged.
the timing of it.
Yeah.
It was right after he was accused or questioned, I should say.
Yeah.
He was questioned about his preferences.
Yep.
And one of his big sponsors for his podcast, I think, is condoms, or it's like a Blue Chew type deal.
I think it's Blue Chew. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. Maybe he was getting in trouble with his sponsor, saying, "I don't know." Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's
uncomfortable.
I thought it was very funny.
That's.
I watched the videos. It was it was rough.
Listen, him and Chad Ochocinco talking about it killed me. He said
Ocho was pretty funny.
He said, "I don't know, Unc. You weren't there for very long. You might need to work on your endurance."
What did he say? Something about like I was already knee deep in there for like 25 minutes.
He doesn't seem like somebody that was that bashful about it, does he?
No.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
it was
to be fair
streamed to like 20,000 people.
Once it's out there, you either gotta
that's
own
true.
it
That's
or not.
true.
You know.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't see anything, and all you could do is hear, and all you.
Okay. Okay.
The groans.
Just the old man
The
grunts.
He's like,
Okay.
But
All right.
that would be that's in my eyes the ultimate catastrophe of this week.
Yes. All right. So
us having to hear Shannon Sharpe get it on.
well, I did not listen to that, and I choose not to.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I wish I hadn't.
listen, to be fair, I was just swiping on TikTok and someone had screenshotted it and
Nah, I
shared
was
it.
watching it live on Twitter. I was watching it all unfold. I saw he was trending on Twitter, clicked on it, and then it was like,
well,
I was
He
like,
was trending on Twitter.
oh yeah, he was like #1 on Twitter for like a good like 6 hours.
oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was
Well,
rough.
That is Cam's catastrophes. So thank you, Cam, for that. Okay, so lastly, let's go into next week. We've got this week, I should say, week 3 picks. Overall, we have Cameron and I are 7-3. Trent's just a little behind at 5-5, but long season to catch up. We've got 4 games here. Patriots and Jets. I will start off this one, and I will go Jets. I think the Jets, I believe that's the Monday night or the Thursday night game. I've got the Jets winning this. I think they'll win big. I'm not overly impressed. I know New England won 1 game. I predict they'll win probably about 5. That's just my feelings. But the Jets are a good team, and I have the Jets winning this. So, Cameron, what about you?
Yeah, I am going to.
You want me to convince you why you should take the Jets, Cameron?
Why should I take the Jets?
I think the Jets are going to win this game because Patriots' strong suit last week and the week before that was their run game, and I think the Jets have arguably one of the greatest or one of the best linebacker cores in the group, so I think they're going to be able to stop the run pretty well. So I just think it's going to take away the main strength of the Patriots, so I'm probably going to go Jets.
Yeah. I think my gut's telling me to take the Jets, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots
Somehow
get a
win.
little sneaky win.
I don't
Aaron
disagree.
Rodgers gets hurt or something like
Well,
that.
that could happen. That's for
I
sure.
mean, old man Rodgers, he's
But-
on the brink every week, every step he takes.
Yep. Okay, so we all have the Jets going
I do have
into.
the Jets.
We've got the Eagles and the Saints. That's a quite interesting game. Trent, we'll let you start off with this. You look like you're in pain right now. Are you having flashbacks of Monday night, or what do you have? Who do you have winning this game?
Taking the Saints.
Taking the Saints. All right.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You got a team that's just scored 80 points in the last 2 weeks.
And no A.J. Brown.
We got no A.J. Brown. This is a talented team, and I don't know, from what I've seen so far, it's going to be hard to bet against them. Also, our record against the Saints is not good, going way back.
There's something to that when you don't win games against certain teams.
I'm talking like 2015 playoffs to now. We haven't really done great against the Saints. So as much as it's going to absolutely wreck us for the rest of the year to lose this game, I just think this is a big game for us. If we can win it, it might set the tone for our division. But if we lose it, it's gonna sting because that gives everyone else an opportunity to take us. So I'm going the Saints. That's gonna suck.
Cameron.
I also got the Saints.
Saints. Okay, we got the Saints. All right.
Saints are gonna run away with it.
Okay.
But I would not be surprised if the Eagles expose them for being frauds.
Yeah, you just got to know how long is this going to last with the Saints, because I didn't expect one of these, let alone two. So,
yeah.
All right, next we have the 49ers Rams. We'll start with Cameron. What are you predicting? This is at SoFi.
Can I go last?
You can go last. Okay.
No. I want him to go first. No, because you already know what Randy's picking.
Yeah,
I do. It's on the paper.
Yeah, so then I'll go. The 49ers. I have the 49ers winning. This is going to be an interesting game because the Rams they have to win this game.
Yeah.
This is a absolute have to win game, but I just think the 49ers will pull it out. They've had thus far, Shanahan absolutely has McVay's number. He is, I think, won 85%, and one of them was last year in the playoffs when the 49ers didn't play anybody. That was one of the 2 wins out of, I think, 12 games. So I think that will continue, and I think the 49ers will win.
Yeah. It's like the battle of the injured teams right now.
Yeah.
You got the Rams who are missing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Yep.
See, what now I have to think about is, can the Rams running game beat the 49ers? Because
Kyron's been playing pretty
they're not
good.
going to outpass the 49ers without their 2 top wide receivers. The 49ers defense, their back end isn't that bad. And then you got to think, can Brock Purdy beat the Rams defense without Christian McCaffrey and Debo? That's hard, man. If Trent Williams was out of this game, I don't even think it's a question. I think I'd take the Rams.
I don't know. He didn't play great last game.
I know, but it's frustrating. This is hard.
He's declining.
Man. I'm going to take the 49ers. I might regret that. I'm taking the 49ers.
Okay.
I got the Rams.
Yes.
I got the Rams, and I know that the Rams wide receiver room is deeper than people think. Even without Puka and Cooper, I think they'll do well.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can pass the ball. If Ayuk gets his act together, maybe they have a chance, but Ayuk hasn't been playing good.
No, he hasn't.
He's been playing like George Pickens, who also hasn't been playing good.
They would have been a match.
Like Jamar Chase, maybe, who both didn't show up.
Whoa, don't go there. That's he's on a whole nother tier.
It's not Jamar's fault he didn't get paid.
I'm just saying they both don't show up, and they're both rusty. That's what I'm referring to.
Yes. Yeah, I got the Rams. I think they'll win home game.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the 49ers are a little. I think they got their hearts hurt to lose against Minnesota. I think that put a little hitch in their giddy up, if you get me.
Okay. All right. Last game, Chiefs Falcons. Cameron, you start us off. This is your team versus the Falcons. So what do you got?
I want to take the Chiefs. I really do. The only thing is the Falcons are coming off, in their eyes, a big win.
Yeah.
To beat the Eagles in that fashion, end of the game, Kirk Cousins, final push.
Yeah.
It really gets the team going.
You got to think they're going to be riding that high for sure.
They're probably on a plane. Big Kirko's
Kirko,
got
the
17 chains on. They're blasting G Herbo in the private jet. But I just don't know.
They got Dolph on for sure.
Yeah. I can't.
No, take your Chiefs, man.
Yeah, I don't think Drake London will play good. I don't think Kirk will play as good. Is it at? It's not at Arrowhead.
That's what I'm looking up right now. Actually, I don't know yet.
I think it's probably at home for the Falcons. It's in Atlanta.
It's a Sunday night game too.
Oh, it's prime time?
Oh,
we're
geez.
winning.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're winning. That's not even a question. I have no doubts. No matter. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Kirk can't win in prime time. It's the Chiefs.
I'm also taking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Listen, not only is it prime time, you get prime time refs.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Yes!
do. The
Yes,
12th
yes,
man.
yes.
The 12th man, right?
I love referees.
Listen, my favorite.
It's in Atlanta.
My favorite.
Don't
meme,
matter.
It's in Atlanta.
Don't matter.
Yeah. Well, I think it matters only in the aspect of how much the Chiefs will win. So
Yeah,
I have the
that's
Chiefs
true.
winning that game. I agree with you. You do have Mahomes. He is on, in the spotlight. He's going to play better. And that team's too good. Kirk Cousins played really, really well for a minute in that game on Monday night. But other than that, I think he was okay.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, I don't know what happened. And no matter what happens, I honestly at this point am convinced that God actually might have something there with the Chiefs, because they win and teams miss extra points and they win, or something happens. And so they're doing something right down there. And I have them winning this game against the Falcons.
I think it's a mentality thing. I think people get psyched out when they play the Chiefs.
There's
I think they
some
get
truth
too much
to
in
that.
their head, and
Yeah.
they're like, we have to. These are the best. This is the best team in the league. We got to really put everything out there, and then they overdo it, and I think they trip over themselves when the Chiefs kind of just jog.
Yeah.
And they go, I don't. They're not playing very much.
You're a good team when you know you're the best team, and the other team knows you're the best team.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
you're psyched out from the beginning. So
Yep.
we'll see how it goes. That's it for us this week. We'll look forward to week 3, and thank you for joining us again. Please hit the subscribe button, and we appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you for joining us.